Its use is for starting plants. So we have some of the propagation going on here right now. This is, I think, all melons that we'll plant out. And so we left a little space here just to grow some cucumbers. These are greenhouse cucumbers, and they're a lot of fun. So. So that was our first major purchase. It was about $10,000 for the house, and then we added the labor and a few other things. And it allows us to be very intensive in our production because we can grow plants indoors earlier in the season. So we get early lettuce and cabbage and so on. But it also allows us to grow seedlings and transplant seedlings, which is a way of increasing your fertility or increasing your, I don't know what's the word, productivity in the sense that you can start crops indoors and plant them outdoors, and you can save that 6 weeks of time that it takes to grow the plant outdoors. And especially on this farm, we don't have to weed it for those first 6 weeks. And that's a big savings of labor. This is the Barr Farm. It's been in this kind of production, intensive vegetable production, for generations, I think, at least 2 generations. This is a 3rd generation farm, but this isn't a certified organic farm, but we're working towards that. It takes 3 years of not using restricted materials on the farm before it can be certified organic. So we're trying to use organic practices as if we were certified. Really major problems in organic agriculture, and especially in vegetable production, is how to control weeds. And so you see there's some black plastic mulch, and underneath it there's a drip tape. So you can really gain a lot of efficiency by using weed barriers and a system of irrigation. And that's a good example right there. These are Jet Star tomatoes, and it's our fall planting or our second planting. So you'll be seeing these sometime in September. So we have about 3.5 acres here, and we have another 1.5 acres or so down in Wooden Shoe Hollow. It's a couple miles away, which we're preparing now for fall crops and perhaps early summer crops. So when I was young, I wanted to get into farming, and the only way I could do it was through vegetable farming because they're annual crops, and you can get something every year. And if you're good at it, you try and get 3 crops a year. You get your spring crops and your summer crops and your fall crops. And that's what we're doing here. We're doing very intensive production. What you have to do for a CSA, because people expect a long season, they expect Florida crops available here in Ohio, which is hard to do, but we're trying. And you can start with a hoe and a rototiller and get into production. But our plans are to really grow and to make this a model farm here, a training center for new farmers, for young farmers, because there's no training available for people who really want to do this, and we feel that it's a necessity. Maybe you know that the average age of a farmer here in Ohio is over 60 years old and going up. And since Earl Butz was the Secretary of Agriculture, his motto was "Get big or get out" of agriculture. So all of the small farms like this and vegetable production was not supported, or vegetable production's never been supported, but the family farm was basically pushed out of existence. And Ohio has basically been a commodity crop production since the 70s, and that's corn and soybeans. But Ohioans eat vegetables and fruits. And what is it if they...
We consume about $29 billion worth of food each year. And of that $29 billion, only $3 billion is actually produced inside of our state.
And that includes meats and other food types. So there's a lot of money that could be made here in fresh vegetables, especially since people are recognizing the importance of eating plants, having a plant-rich diet. And so I'm convinced that we can have a lot more farmers, but not of the kind that everybody fled the farm from, which was unlimited hours in a day. You just worked from sun up to sundown, without any benefits, without any savings except the property itself. And so you worked on your retirement until you couldn't work anymore, and then you could sell the farm. But that's not a livelihood that we're trying to develop. We want to have through our Harvest cooperative, have jobs that people are actually willing to grow into, to become a farmer that has a job that he could, it would be supported, be a living wage. And that can happen.